Okay, first of all, on behalf of the Sangha, the monastic community of Zhuangyan Monastery, I would like to congratulate the newlywed couple on their marriage and to wish them all happiness and fulfillment in their marital relationship.
首先，我要代表庄严寺恭喜这对新人，恭喜。
Yeah, this is my perpetual impediment whenever I have to give a talk. We'll have to wait until this gong is finished.
这个是午饭的钟，在等这个钟打完之后，我们再继续。
Many people think of Buddhism as a religion of just ceremonies, renunciation, aimed at some kind of world-transcending enlightenment.
很多人以为佛教只是一个宗教，只是为了来拜忏呢，来参加活动。
大家听得懂英文？没有人不听得懂英文。
你哋都聽得明白嗬，都冇問題嗬。英文講英文唔需要翻譯啊。
I think everybody understands English.
那就不需要翻譯了。
Yeah, that's not necessary for. Okay. Yeah, but the Buddha had a very clear and deep understanding of life in the household. He had been married himself and had a child. And we also know from the teachings that the Buddha had spent many, many past lives, earlier lives, on his way to enlightenment, on his journey to enlightenment, living a married household life. And so the Buddha was able to give very clear, practical instructions to married couples. And the Buddha emphasizes that marriage should be not only a social relationship, not only a relationship of sensual fulfillment between husband and wife, but it should also serve as a kind of vehicle for spiritual cultivation. In Buddhism, we believe that we live many, many lives, that this is not the only life that we live, that we come into existence at birth and perish completely at death. But this life is only one little link in a beginningless chain of lives. And the ultimate purpose for the Buddhist is to attain enlightenment and liberation from the cycle of repeated births. But until we can attain enlightenment, through each of our existence, we have to fulfill, develop, cultivate, and fulfill certain qualities that prepare our minds, our hearts, our character for the great achievement. The kind of qualities that we have to develop are called paramis or paramitas, spiritual perfections. And marriage is an opportunity to cultivate these spiritual qualities, these spiritual perfections. So what are some of these spiritual perfections that we have to cultivate on the way to enlightenment and that one can develop in the marital relationship? One of them is called dana, which means giving or generosity. And so this can be implemented in the relationship between husband and wife, that they should each be prepared to give to the others, to give gifts to the others, to give understanding to the others, to be helpful to the other. And so in this way, husband and wife give gifts to each other, and develop simultaneously, mutually, this quality, this virtue of giving. But another aspect of giving that can cement the relationship between husband and wife, and that is giving to some other worthwhile causes. This becomes an expression in action of compassion. And so we see in this world so many people who are suffering from various misfortunes, and there are many organizations to help human beings as well as animals to relieve their misery and misfortune. So if husband and wife find several causes or even one cause that resonates with both of them, that inspires both of them, they can make it a practice to, in common, together in solidarity, to give regularly to support worthwhile humanitarian causes. Okay, a second perfection or spiritual perfection to be developed is called good behavior or moral conduct. And for the layperson, the Buddha has laid down the principles of moral conduct in terms of observing 5 precepts. That is, not to kill, to destroy other living beings, not to steal, not to commit marital infidelity, to speak the truth, and to avoid the use of intoxicants. And including this 5th factor, to avoid the use of intoxicants, I think the Buddha was extremely wise, because if we look at the causes of so much marital disharmony, divorce, conflict, even murder in the United States, we could see that one of the primary underlying causes is the use of alcohol. Okay, so a second spiritual perfection is moral discipline or virtuous conduct. A third quality to be developed, spiritual perfection, is patience. And patience is extremely important within a marital relationship, because people, even the most loving husbands and wives, will have differences of opinion, different preferences, different ways of doing things. And over the long term, even when a marriage begins out with strong love between husband and wife, if both don't develop this quality of patience, then the little differences of opinion, the little difference of preferences can lead to a bigger and bigger rift and break up the marriage. And so it's extremely important to be patient with the other person, to listen to them, to try to understand their point of view, and sometimes when their way of doing things conflicts with one's own, to yield, let the other person prevail. The most important thing is to maintain that feeling of love and consideration for the other. And when one has love and consideration, then one can be patient. Okay, another perfection or spiritual perfection mentioned by the Buddha is truthfulness. To be truthful within the relationship, to be ready to express one's thoughts, one's feelings, not to use falsehood to cover up any kind of inappropriate conduct. And so when there's truthfulness and openness in the relationship, this maintains a smooth, harmonious relationship. Okay. Another quality that is considered a spiritual perfection and which has to be developed very gradually, and that is wisdom. And the beginning of wisdom is to understand what is good, what is bad, what is right, what is wrong, what is beneficial to one's own development, what is harmful to one's development, what promotes a harmonious relationship, and what is disruptive to a harmonious relationship. And so one has wisdom, then one will know how to deal with situations, tense situations, conflicted situations, wisely, in ways that will promote the flourishing of the relationship. Okay, so these are just a few words of advice that I wish to give you on this happy and very meaningful day. And I also brought along for each of you the small book, actually 2 small books, One is called The Buddhist Rules for the Laity, which is much more a collection of much more than rules, but it's a collection of discourses by the Buddha that he gave to lay followers, including discourses to husbands and wives on how to maintain a meaningful relationship. And another is a small book that I had written some years ago called The Noble Eightfold Path, on the Buddha's most fundamental practical teaching. So I'm very happy to be able to give you these books and to wish you again a happy and fulfilling marital relationship.